Hugely important to our democracy, voting rights, as we're looking at 14 states trying to push more restrictive voting rights laws on a state level. On a federal level, President Biden now tapping VP Harris to lead the efforts on voting rights. What's she expected to do?
Well, first of all, I think it was important we saw this sort of emphasis on this commitment from the president in the remarks he delivered yesterday in Tulsa, saying that the protection of voting rights is, in effect, critical to ensuring racial equity in this country. This is another challenging assignment for his vice president. You know, already on her plate right now is the responsibility to try to deter migration from the Northern Triangle countries. She will be in Guatemala and Mexico next week. She did say in a statement that she's going to basically engage the public, voting rights organizations, community organizations, the private sector as well, to try to advance these bills that are now stalled in Congress, among them the For the People Act. That is H.R. 1, the first House resolution of this term, what's been a Democratic priority to this point. The president saying that basically we will overcome again, but saying it's going to take a hell of a lot of work. You also see the John Lewis Voting Rights Act right now that would effectively put back in place some of those things that the Supreme Court turned back as it relates to the 1965 Voting Rights Act. But this is going to take a lot of work. There was a lot of division on this. And again on this, the swipe at Sinema and Manchin from the president yesterday could be associated with Manchin's opposition to the filibuster. He has been among those who's been looking for a bipartisan agreement on voting rights and not anything that Democrats would do alone.
Then, Sahil, let's stay on this, because for anyone who thinks Sinema and Manchin are somehow against voting rights, we should remind them that they are both co-sponsors of the John Lewis, to Peter's point, Voting Rights Act. That is the other voting rights bill that Democrats are trying to pass. Can you explain to us what the difference is between the two and why Democrats aren't working together on one voting rights initiative?
Sure. So the short version is the differences are H1, or the For the People Act, would set a sweeping set of voting rights that would apply in all 50 states. Universal access to mail-in voting, 15 days of early voting, that sort of thing. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act only applies to changes that states want to make after this bill would become law. So the pre-clearance requirement that the Supreme Court knocked down, if Texas or Arizona wants to make a new law, they would have to pre-clear it with the Justice Department, presuming that they have voting rights violations in their record over the last 25 years. The reason, Stephanie, that Democrats haven't put up the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, one of them at least, is that they believe that there are enough voter restrictive laws on the books that need to be rolled back, and you can't do that with the John Lewis Act. You have to do that with H.R. 1 and S1. And look, when President Biden tapped Vice President Harris to be, the point person on this, I joked that she was basically making him the U.S. ambassador to Joe Manchin. The reason is there are 49 out of 50 Democrats, including Sinema, that are co-sponsors of the H.R. 1 bill, the S1 bill in the Senate. Manchin is the only holdout to get to a majority. If they get Manchin, they still need to eliminate the filibuster. So at the end of the day, Vice President Harris's job is to persuade him. He's not going to be able to get out of this without at least casting a vote. Senator Schumer has promised he's going to put this on the floor toward the end of this month. We'll see where it comes down. Stephanie?
U.S. ambassador to Joe Manchin, just what Joe Manchin would like to hear. Peter, Sahil, John, thank you all so much.